And it really made me think of Donald Trump's executive order that we're also famous for talking about. I Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the ability of persons located in whole or in substantial part outside of the United States to interfere in or undermine public confidence in the United States elections, including through the unauthorized accessing of election and campaign infrastructure or the covert distribution of propaganda and disinformation, constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Now, a lot of people might say, but Dan, this is really not huge. Right, like this can't be like what he was talking about. No, I agree. This is yes, this is exactly what he was talking about, but no, is this the lead story when it comes to that? And I'm not saying I've got something better right now, what I am saying is I think this is just to get the ball rolling, just to get our chops wet. Right, just to start to understand what those jowls salivating, because I think we're starting to see that election interference from other countries, and certainly ones that we're concerned about, definitely happened. Something else interesting that is coming out. Don't know exactly what it means. But there's certainly some strange implications. Queen has entered a new phase and we may not see her again until February, says experts in their way that they talk. And it's interesting because the point is well made, especially in the game of chess, the Queen protects the King, which of course begs the who the King is might have been one of the Rothschild probably. And or maybe some other weird thing that there's so many rumors, like it's hard to know what's true and what's not. But whatever the case is, I think we're starting to get to the bottom of everything. Now, one thing I've learned in life, they call it a jinx, right? Don't say something like I've never had that happen before, or like, oh my something, right, like you jinx yourself by bringing up things, and she does this beautifully. And in fact it's quite funny how she does this. So her little jinx, you knew. Where was it? I thought I had it in here. She basically said it, taunting her former White House guys. She said, oh yeah, you know who's not going to jail and has never been indicted for anything? I hope you have a great weekend. Hillary Clinton. So thanks. It was quite restful. So again, we're doing some chicken tack, a little back and forth, and people are starting to call her out on some of her craziness. So we're getting there, we're slowly making progress. Democrats plan to double down on critical race theory, or SCL whatever, selecting something, learning whatever the hell it is. I don't know the new name. SCL Democrats are planning to double down, though, culling parents for 2022 election reports. This is fantastic. We could not hope for better news. And in fact, if you're a Democrat right now, you've got to be gone. Are you and me? Are you freaking serious? You guys are going to double down on this thing that is wholly unpopular right now. You're going to tell parents what the parents have no rights over what their children learn or experience at school. That's your guys, this platform. That's amazing. And at the same time, again, it's the deep state. They're obvious when you know what the deep state is trying to do. That's the thing that's happening right now. That's what Donald Trump he's made them have to speed up their process, and so it's in our face right now. There's no way this is going to be successful for them, especially after a year of us talking about how horrible it is. No way. So that's a major strike against them. It's disgusting. He is a pedophile, he's like, oh, and we've heard stories about maybe what's happened with his daughter, right? The Ashley Diary. That Project Veritas got. They went after him even though wasn't at fault, didn't share it, didn't do any of that. You tried to give it back. He's like, we don't want it, we got it from an anonymous source. He's completely incapable of knowing what he's doing. Not sure. But that doesn't play well, does it? I was just speaking about this yesterday. I believe the Quinnipiac poll, Biden approval has plunged to 36. Again, they seem to have hit the brakes on the free fall. I don't think the free fall actually has stopped. I think the numbers that they're getting are coming from a small pool of people that I don't know that are willing to answer polls. I know, like ABC and CBS and all that stuff. Those are from a shrinking audience, or the people that they can actually pull. Quinnipiac is probably running into some of the same prices. I mean, again, their numbers seem to be sticking at a point. I don't think that's legitimate. I think this is all of the polling companies are like, we can't let this go lower than where it's already at. You remember the one that I think he was the one that walked around the front of the car and then went and got inside, grabbed something from inside the vehicle. Cops kept saying, stop, 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 stop. And he just kept going. Didn't care. And then bend that back, bam. Well, none of the cops got in trouble because he was reaching for a knife. So Biden once again supporting the criminal, Biden supporting the criminal. Everyone's seeing it. It's becoming apparent. And now this is something that people are also pointing out. That's very strange. So the blurring of the presidential seal is very, very interesting. And first off, I don't know, Parts of this people look photoshopped in here. I've got like fake shadowing going on over here. This lady looks a little, I don't know, just things don't look right. It just doesn't look right. But then on top of that they're also blurring out the presidential seal, which kind of implies a few things. Really? But it's blurred out. Why? Makes you wonder if maybe he's not really allowed to use that symbol. Like that would be against the law, against the international law, to be pretending to be the President of the United States when you're not. The only people that really acknowledge that he's president are fake Washington, D.C. establishment, the media. That's pretty much it, right? Some of these CEOs of these Twitters and Facebooks and whatnots finding out Biden's Marxist Treasury nominee, Solomarova, is now also a convicted thief. Now it's a misdemeanor. I don't want to necessarily go off per se. But she is supposed to be like the comptroller of the currency. So usually don't give thieves jobs around money or being in charge of money now again in our government. That's probably a prerequisite, right, for the deep state. If it's like, have you committed any crimes? No. Alright. We'll call you back. Trust me, right? And it's like, have you committed any crimes? And they're like, yes. And you're like, alright, what were they? What else did you commit? Retail theft, minor. It was back in '95. Probably looked exactly as she does now. The Chinese don't age. Asians don't age, right? They look the same forever. I've heard black don't crack either. So I'm figuring there's definitely like white, we get old. Do we get old and feeble and looking terrible? Some of the other races definitely do better in that department. Hey, Ken Zinger's retirements underscoring Trump's dominance over the GOP. One more person that has decided that they're not going to move forward with the rest of us. Why? Because we don't like this guy. He's one of the 13. Kinzinger is definitely someone that needs to go, bye-bye. So he's decided he's not going to try to go any further. So sad. Another one, Rep. G.K. Butterfield, he's the Democrats, he's set to announce his retirement from the House in a move that will deal another blow to the Democrats' chances of keeping control of the chamber in the midterm elections. Another one bites the dust. Now, who is this crazy one? Of course, Kate Brown from Oregon. I know you might not have recognized her with the ball gag stuck in her face. It's almost what that looks like to me, by the way. It's a ball gag with a snow globe. Kind of an interesting way to do it. Yeah, just like this. Like the thing says, sometimes you can't make stuff up, right? I mean, you can. No one would believe this. They'd be like, dude, that's Photoshop, no factual picture. It's real. So let's go. Brandon. Governor DeSantis is majorly trolling Biden, and we enjoyed. By the way, it's so funny. I saw a truck, it was like Biden's gardening, or I'm sorry, Brandon's gardening, and I was laughing. I was trying to get the dude's attention. He wouldn't look at me because I was gonna go, let's go Brandon, and see what he did. But anyway, it made me laugh. I laughed out loud while walking in public, and generally not a good thing to do because of your leadership. The leadership of our legislature. President symptoms. Simpson Speaker Sprouse. Brandon, Florida has become the shining city on the hill. Who, let's go Brandon, you know it, well done. The Santas, and again, how could you not take advantage if you have a city? Brandon in your state? Of course you've got to do that. Good old Brandon high, you know, they're chanting that teachers probably hate it though. But whatever, let's go. Brandon got to love it now. This is quite possibly one of the coolest things I've heard the Santa saying a long time, and right. That's in a long list of very cool things. This guy says frequently, hard to sort through them all. But I wanna let you guys be the judge of this. There's a dude that was asking a question in the background. He was basically saying, why is it okay, for you to disregard what Biden has said? But when school districts try to disregard what you say, that's not okay. How come? How come? What's going on? So that's what the question was that you can barely hear. That's why I just got straight to his answer. Check it out. So first of all, this idea that somehow conservatism is about like local school boards, it's the United States of America. United School Boards and County Commissions of America. Yeah. When I was in the military, they used to give me all kind of stuff. Honestly, I wish I would have thought a little bit, but I mean, whatever it was, but that's much different than regulating the military and then imposing it on civilians in society. It's never been done before. It's not, they don't have the power to do it. People can say, is it the job of somebody that's elected to look out for the liberties of everyone in the state? Or you just say, hey, if someone is violating your freedom, we shouldn't do anything. If we had let them lock down businesses and restrict and do all that, we would have one of the highest unemployment rates in the country. So we had to stand out for people's liberties, their livelihoods, their right to work, people's right to own a business, and it was the right thing to do. But what Biden is doing, he does not have. He even admitted he doesn't have the authority to do it. The SAIC admitted that they don't have the authority to do it. And in fact, even 6 months ago, they were all saying, of course you never mandate. Of course you never mandate. And so the question is, do we actually have a constitution that constrains people like Biden, or is it just when he loses patience, he can do whatever the hell he wants to? Now, I'll take the Constitution. Thank you very much. So again, there's our future President of the United States once Trump has done, no question about it, and I do not believe he's going to overstep Trump. I don't think he's going to try to run against Trump. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. I know there's a lot of people that seem to be having a hard time thinking Trump's okay. Whatever the case is, the dude took slings and arrows for us. I don't care what anybody says when you look at what happened, when you look at how great things were, and then you look at the fact that okay, he made some rough tweets every now and then again. I don't get on board with this everybody hating on Trump thing at all, and no, I'm not saying he's our savior. That's what we're doing. I stand with Trump. I stand with Flynn, I stand with this DeSantis, I stand with Rittenhouse. I stand with a lot of these guys right now because that's what needs to happen. Patrol the internet looking for ways to get offended and then try to target members and strip them other committees, and then the cherry on top, my colleague and 3 months presidential candidate from California who is on the Intelligence Committee. Let me say that again. This is unacceptable. And this would never be hard not to like her. Right. I mean Hugh, that's all I can say. Well, what about Matt Gaetz? Oh, he decided he wanted to get involved as well, and he is not quite as strong as the other lady. But this Matt did really good, check it out. I am no expert on Japanese anime, but I am told, and I do believe, that it is not real. What is real is the crisis on our border. The inflation crushing American families. If you don't like Paul, go start tweet back at him. We know there are plenty of folks in big tech who will amplify your message. But the general lady from Pennsylvania gave the game away. This isn't really about a tweet, it's about removing a powerful conservative Paul Gosar from the Oversight Committee. And again, this is the Democrats' deep state's attempt at trying to remove true government from its power so they can have their CCP element in charge of everything. You can see it happening everywhere. Every single moment they have an opportunity to try to take power away from we the people and take power away from anybody that will stand up against them. People are seeing this now again. I know a lot of people that are still watching MSNBC and CNN. Who cares? There's like 2 million people there, folks. Alright, last I checked there's like 350 some million people in this country. Hardly any of them are actually watching the mainstream news. A lot of them sure might not ever be able to change their minds, but trust me, information is making its way out. This has a divine side to it. It's not just a bunch of people that are playing politics. No, this is way larger. This is the entire world being attempted to be locked down and take away our freedoms. We in this country are the last bastion of freedom. And if we fall, folks, the world falls. It will be darkness for a very long time on this planet. And that ain't gonna happen on my watch, that much. I promise that much, I assure you. And I guarantee they ain't gonna win, and they're losing badly as it plays out. So President Trump's chief spokesperson tweets a message that is of course causing liberals to freak out. Apparently, Liz Harrington has been described as the chief lunatic spokeswoman for the former US President Donald Trump. They're hypocrites, and nobody likes a hypocrite. Nobody likes somebody that says our rules you have to follow. I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum, you hate hypocrisy. Now, of course, a lot of the people that are spewing hypocrisy don't realize they're doing it. They can't look in the mirror, they're incapable, maybe they're vampires, they don't see a reflection. I don't know how it plays out in their crazy little worlds, but a majority of the population absolutely sees what's going on. Yeah. Sheriff's Association representing 17 states. Did someone say 17 states? I guess they did. 17 states declaring no confidence in Biden's open border. DHS Secretary Alejandro, 17 states so far saying now we don't have confidence in you there, boss, essentially. Now, can you imagine why, when you've got millions of people that are just streaming across the southern border and none of Biden's administration wants to do a dang thing about it? Do you think that maybe that's frustrating, that maybe that's frustrating me? That maybe that's frustrating, that maybe that's frustrating me? That maybe that's frustrating.